My name is Nick Weiss. I am the founder, owner, and managing attorney of NP Weiss Law, with offices in South Euclid and Elyria, practicing in family law, real estate, and estate administration and planning. I want to talk about family law for this video, and in particular, I want to talk about the weaponization of therapy speak. And this, because I am a millennial myself, I'm allowed to dump on my own generation a little bit. I'm noticing a lot in my millennial custody and divorce cases. So I'm glad we're all going to therapy, but we have to use what we learn there responsibly. And at least in the cases that I'm seeing, we are not. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about using the language of a therapy session, whether intentionally or unintentionally, to, instead of expressing oneself, to control another, right? To control the actions or opinions or values of another. The number one word that I hear misused when we're talking about this is boundaries. Boundaries are very, very, very important. Boundaries are statements or internal actions. If someone takes this action, I will do X. This is distinct from an ultimatum, which is you must do this thing. All right, my boundary is that you must do this thing. Or my boundary, this happens sometimes in custody cases, is that I will not talk with my ex at all. That is my boundary. Those are not real boundaries, right? Those are not legitimate boundaries, not in a therapy context, and certainly not in a legal context. When we're talking about good faith weaponization of therapy speech, we're really talking about mistaking the venue that you're in. You are not in front of your therapist. You are in front of your lawyer, or you're in front of the judge. They are not going to be particularly impressed by your use of gaslighting or emotional abuse or boundaries if you are not using those terms correctly. This leads to the second group who is misusing this, and that is the group that is knowingly misusing these terms. Knowingly misusing these terms is in and of itself a form of emotional abuse, which is ironic because the people who are misusing these terms are often the ones who are committing the emotional abuse. To use, especially if it was in a group therapy session, the language and methodology that has been done there to exert control over the other. Gaslighting is a big one. When one partner says a thing that the other person disagrees with and doesn't want to happen, to accuse them of gaslighting them for any kind of disagreement, right? Or statements of fear of the other on an emotional sense. We had a case not that long ago where we had one partner state that she was afraid emotionally of the other party and seemed to think that that was enough to get what they wanted. That did not stand up on cross-examination, right? To just have an emotional fear of someone else. And that's because of the venue that we're talking about. In your therapist's office, you can talk about those things. You can explore those feelings and you can come to conclusions. On a witness stand, a skilled attorney is going to eviscerate you. For me, the dividing line between emoting, between sharing emotional steps and speaking with your partner, whether you're using the terms right or wrong, it usually doesn't matter unless you cross the line to control. You are attempting to control the other with this use of therapy, with this use of therapy speak. As soon as that line is crossed, as soon as you are accusing someone else of narcissism in order to get what you want because they wanted some kind of reasonable self-care, something like that, you've crossed the line. And you are now weaponizing what you have learned in therapy. And that's true not only in your interpersonal relationship, but also for what the court's going to look at. I want to talk about this for two purposes. One is to talk about the increasing prevalence that I'm seeing on this in my custody dispute. Two, I want to warn those that if you are misusing this therapy speak, if you are using it to exert control, if you're doing that, it will not work. The court will see through it. I will see through it. You will not get a good result. So stop it. And finally, I want to talk to those who may be unknowingly using this. And this is sometimes my own clients. people who are unknowingly taking the wrong lesson from a therapy session and then trying to apply it to their relationship. Um, it is so and so important if you're using therapy and you're using it legitimately to have a good understanding of those sessions and your correspondence and your communication with your therapist. And so that you're not taking that out and then trying to apply it in a legal setting. Courts deal with facts. Courts deal with laws. They do not deal with feelings. So I encourage everyone to go to their therapist. I think that's a very good deal. Generally, we have some therapists that we work with here that we like to send people to. I'm not saying don't go to therapy. I am saying be cautious about what you take out from those sessions and how you start to use them in the context of a custody or divorce dispute. If you have more questions about this, you'd like to talk about this further, or maybe you have a partner who is utilizing some of these techniques and you would like to speak with an attorney about how to counter those, please give us a call.